Folks, it's time we start talking about spontaneity as a mental health cure. Now, over the past few months, I've tried being more spontaneous in my life. I've intentionally tried going out of my way to incorporate spontaneity into my life. And the results have been amazing. To the end of this video, I'll get to exactly what I've experienced. So be sure to stay around until the end because you do not want to miss this. Before we get too deep into it though, I need to give you a bit of context. Now, I'm someone who prides myself on being quite organized, being quite routine-oriented, disciplined. That's the person I've been for the past 6 or so years. And it's been great. Discipline and routine has taken me places I could have never dreamt before. But I found myself in the past few months going through a dark patch when it comes to both my professional life, my personal life, and my mental health. And I knew something had to change, but I wasn't sure what. In all honesty, I was afraid of change. I love running. Running is my coping mechanism. And I found myself not being as motivated to wake up for the early run as I used to be. And I would blame myself. I would think that I'm on the wrong path and I'm on the course nowhere fast. Running was more than just an exercise of discipline to me though. It felt like a coping mechanism. And so when I found myself in this purple patch, I was reluctant to change anything. I didn't want to change my routines because I felt like without my routine, I would be nothing. I genuinely was scared of eliminating routine out of my life and going back to a life that I do not want to go back to. And so what did I do? I did nothing. For the biggest part of this year, I kind of just ignored the purple patch. I told myself, you're just going through the motions and eventually this season will subside. That is until very recently. A few months ago, I started doing things that I never used to do. Rather than my early morning run, go for an early morning dip in the ocean. Rather than hoarding my money, I would invest money into experiences that I actually get to enjoy. I took intentional steps to be more spontaneous in my life. And let me tell you, the results are in, and I couldn't be more glad that I took those steps. Being quite disciplined, I have my set routines. I would go for my runs in the morning, I would go to work. When I get home, it is literally a case of film video, get changed, make food, eat food, edit video. And that would be so fixed. I would be so scared to veer off of that routine because then I'm afraid of going backwards. Now, Monday evening at half an hour's notice, I decided, why not go for a date? Why not go for a random Monday evening pool session with someone I've never met before? And let me tell you, that experience was so good that I decided to repeat the dosage this morning. This morning, I notified my employer I wouldn't be at work at the allotted time. I'll be an hour late. Yet again, that is something I would never do. And I used that time to go to a run club, to dress up like a freaking dinosaur and go to a run club and just play around with people that I barely know. And let me tell you, on my way to work this morning, I got this rush. It felt like the weight of the world has been lifted off my shoulder. And I think the reason for that is twofold. Firstly, spontaneity, and I will get to that. But secondly, just relaxing those demands on yourself. You know what? If you're anything like me, I can relate to the feeling of never feeling like you're doing enough. I like to see myself as someone who is ambitious. And the ambition comes with work. You do stuff. You choose to save money. You choose to be disciplined. You choose to show up. You choose to do all these things. Now, the more you add onto that list, the more afraid I get of taking something off because I know that I can operate at this capacity. And it feels like if you take anything off of that list, it immediately feels to me like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And let me tell you, if you spend a long enough time within that rigid framework, you are bound to get to a dead end. A dead end is where I found myself until I found an outlet, until I eased the expectations on myself and made way for spontaneity. The age-old saying goes, girls just want to have fun. Maybe they want to have fun for a reason. Maybe there's genuine healing in having fun. I can tell you from first-hand experience, after incorporating spontaneity and more fun and an outlet into my life, I feel 10 times better than I felt over the past 4 months. And let me tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm at the back end of a genuinely challenging past few months. I've made several changes in my life. I've tried being more disciplined. I've tried being more frugal. I've tried just willing my way through. I've tried everything. The only thing that's worked for me is spontaneity and having fun. So that is a long way of saying, folks, if perhaps you feel stuck, if perhaps you feel like you are going through a purple patch, you are going through a difficult period in your life, just give it a shot. The worst thing that can happen is you have fun along the way. Just give it a go. I promise you, you will thank me later. But that is it for tonight. I actually have another spontaneous activity right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but guests just arrived at home. So I better go have some fun. Be sure though that I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.